Hey, how's it going? This is Bo here with Tech Talk Live, and I am going to pull my good friend Troy in here very soon. So I'm the manager of technical training here at Viega LLC, and I am going to invite Troy, if I could just do it here. Okay, where'd you go, Troy? There we go. All right. I think we about got this figured out.
Bam!
There he is. Hopefully this
Hey!
works. I never turned on my internet or my Wi-Fi, so we're just running off of data
Oh,
right now.
there we go.
Don't tell our data people.
I think you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, good.
Some people use them as hotspots. You're all good, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. All right,
Well, hey,
awesome.
everyone. Welcome. This is great. It's our second time on Instagram. If you're joining for the first time, my name is Troy Locke, or Trainer Troy, known here on Instagram, and I'm the manager of technical training and technical support, operating out of our New Hampshire Seminar Center. And Bo and I both cover all of North America. He just operates 2,000 miles to the west of me. So wait, is that west? I don't know. I'm in my
That
garage. I
doesn't
don't
look
know.
like the seminar center there, Troy.
Yeah, no, this is not the seminar center. I'm still working out of my garage. And I actually have really good internet, so I love working out of my garage, but I do got to spruce it up a bit. It's not as impressive as our seminar centers, right? Our seminar centers are state of the art, interactive learning centers, the trenches, the workshops, the classrooms, the experience. It's all good. But I do have news because I know some of you all who follow Viega LLC and follow Trainer Troy on Instagram are from New England, and we're going to be opening our New Hampshire Seminar Center for in-person trainings starting September 1st. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
following guidelines, we got stuff that would go out to anybody who's interested, but reach out to your local Viega district manager in your area. If you don't know who it is, get a hold of me and Bo. We'll hook you up. And they will set up. We're doing dedicated trainings, smaller groups than normal because of obviously social distancing and just staying safe overall. So we're excited. We're going to be, getting back at it starting September 1st. So we're excited.
Yeah, we're pumped. We'll be opening here soon in Colorado. No news yet, but it is coming. We have this whole mask thing going on here.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you're right. I mean, state by state, depending on what's going on, every state's different. Every guideline's a little different. You're going to have federal and CDC and local. New Hampshire has their own stuff, and stay safe. Kind of safer at home orders and different things that they're doing. So we're following all that because our customers are our number one priority. Our colleagues are a priority, obviously, right? So we're going to be safe. We have it all laid out. It's actually going to be awesome. We're redoing our trenches. So now you get spacing there. And then once this all goes away, we're going to have bigger and better trenches. So I'm excited about that. So
Good stuff. Good stuff. Can you hear me all right, Troy? Sound coming in five by
yeah,
five? All right,
yeah,
good.
sounds good.
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 No
Yeah.
headset today. It broke.
Oh, okay. Hey, just winging it, right? That's what's great about this. We just do whatever, just wing it, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, because last time Bo and I were new to this whole Instagram live thing, there's actually a timer that Bo's looking at. So we only have limited time, and then apparently we get kicked out. So let's dive right into what we're going to be doing and what we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to be talking about deflection, right? So we're going to be talking about mechanical joints, press connect technology, but press connect's not the only thing that deflects. And I know Bo and I were saying, hey, doesn't really cause deflection. No, you got to know how to install the joint, right? Because if I got a groove joint, if I have a press joint, any type of mechanical joining method is gonna deflect on you or move left, right, up, and down, and you just have to understand how to put it together. And that's why, as skilled tradesmen and women, we learn how to do this during our apprenticeship program, while we're out in the field getting our on-the-job hours, while we're taking our tests to get licensed. So we learn all this stuff as we go. So when newer technologies come to the market, and of course we've been around for almost 30 years, so we're really not that new, but we're still, the market share, we're growing. So it's like almost more and more people join on, goes, what's press technology? This is great stuff. So we're constantly teaching everyone how to properly install our products. And that's what's awesome about this, is because we can now come to you on this platform, or when we open up, you can come to us and you can get your hands on the product and actually learn how to put it together. So today what we want to talk about is deflection and how to avoid it and put systems together that are plumb, level, and square, because you can do that with press technology. You can do that with groove. You can do that with threaded. Anything that's mechanical, you learn how to make it plumb, level, and square. So that's what Bo and I want to talk about today. Obviously, everyone in here that's joining, leave some comments, leave some questions, and we're going to answer this because it's a live show, live Q&A as well. So anything that you have on your mind, let us know. And another thing that we're going to be doing is whomever joins in to the show, we're going to be giving away some swag, right? Some giveaways. So what I want you to do, and we'll announce this at the end of the show too if we got a hot second. What we're going to do is anybody who's on the show tonight, if you just go to Viega LLC, go to their last post, and in the comment section of their last post, put any yellow emoji in there. Just click it, drop it in there, and that will enter you to win some really cool swag. We got some brand new TechTalk Live hats that are coming our way. So hot off the press, got the photos of them today. So that's what we're giving away and maybe more. So just do that. Remember, Viega LLC, go to their last post and drop a comment of any type of yellow emoji. So perfect. All right, Bo.
I'm a big fan of the press emoji.
The press emoji.
You're a Vulcan, the long and prosper, whichever, but yellow.
I know. I was thinking of Red Hot Chili Pepper, but it's not yellow. But hey, whatever. A yellow emoji. So, so with deflection, and I'm going to dive right into this. And Bo, you throw some stuff at me, whatever comes to your mind. But with deflection, you deflect. Yeah, you deflect onto me, right? So with deflection, you got to understand what's happening during the pressing action, right? So for every action, there's a reaction that's going to happen. And that's all going to have to do with the jaw or the ring that you're using to make that press. And this is consistent in all of our press offerings, right? So it's Pro Press and Mega Press and the alloys. So stainless, Kuni, carbon steel, copper, it's all the same because it's press connect fittings. It's press technology. So the action of pressing is going to be the same. It's just you're changing the jaws from a copper tube size jaw to a pipe size jaw, iron pipe size. But when you go ahead and make that press, that action's the same. And that reaction is going to be the same. And you got to know how to counteract that, whether it may be just, hey, put some hangers on there, right? But sometimes the hanger spans longer. If I'm in a warehouse at UPS or something, putting in some mains, I got a good stretch of hangers, and that stuff can sway on me, and I want to know how to avoid deflection, right? So with that, I'm going to dive right into this and talk about that action of that pressing. So when you're using a jaw, and tonight I'm basically going to be demoing Mega Press. I think Bo's going to be doing the same thing, but like I said, Pro Press is going to be the same. So I'm going to be showing off a Mega Press jaw right here. So with Mega Press, it's a jaw when it's half, 3/4, and 1. Now we are launching the small ring kits, the compact ring kits for this, which is great because now I'll give you that swivel. So rings are going to be different, but if you're using a jaw, and on Pro Press you have 1/2 to 2-inch jaws. You also have the ring kit though on 1/2 to 2-inch for Pro Press. So again, you got to know, are you using a ring or using a jaw? So this happens to be a jaw. Now when I open this up and I put this on that fitting, I open this up right here and I place that on that fitting. When I go ahead and I'm going to make this press, so the press gun's right here, the tooling platform, that hydraulic ram is pushing against this jaw and this is closing right here. The fitting is going to push towards the opening of that ring or that jaw, right? So it's going to push towards it. So if I'm sitting here like this, I'm making that press, it's pushing away from me. So what's going to happen? That pipe's going to kick the opposite direction, right? And Bo, I'm going to have Bo do all the fancy hands-on stuff because I see his nice workshop back there. So he gets to actually demo it. So don't mess this up. No, I'm just kidding.
No pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. My phone keeps going dim on me tonight. Sorry about that. So then a ring set, and this just happens to be a Pro Press ring set for 1.25 inches. So it's just like I said, because there's jaws and there's rings. So on a ring, that ring this opens up and wraps around the hub, and your actuator goes in the tooling platform. So when this actuator goes on the ring, the opening of the ring is right here. Your tool is right here. So when I'm making that press, it's pulling that fitting towards the opening of that ring. So it's pulling towards me, which is kicking the pipe in the opposite direction. All right, so you understand that. So that is what I say, for every action, there's a reaction, and that's what is happening during that pressing process. So again, jaws is going to be pushing out away from you. Rings are going to be pulling the fitting into you. So just keep that in mind. Perfect, man. So that's
Awesome.
that's what I wanted to show there and just talk about that. And is there anything you'd like to add?
No, well, yeah, actually, one thing to keep in mind, actually, we're talking about MegaPress today, and we're going to do some demos with MegaPress, but this will happen too with copper. So again, still a mechanical connection, and especially when we get into the larger format fitting, you get up to 2-inch or 4-inch. These fittings, they have a grip ring in the opening of the fitting there. You can see it just like MegaPress, and I took out a MegaPress internals here. So these are the parts that are in our MegaPress fitting. We have a sealing element, HMBR. This is the grip ring. It's a little different than the grip ring that's in the copper fitting, and then there's a separator ring that protects that seal when you make the press, also during assembly. But the point is that when you're using something like this large diameter copper fitting, using a ring as well. And of course, if you're using a regular ProPress fitting, you've got a jaw, and the same action applies. So basically, the fitting, like Troy said, is trying to get out of the jaw. And if we could make a tooling system that just squeezed the fitting this way, you wouldn't have that happen. But then the tool would be incredibly bulky. This is much more convenient. And anyone who's used press knows you can get them into tight locations. You can get in, and I'm going to show you. I've got some confined locations here. We're going to make some presses so you can see what we're talking about. But it's still going to be the same. So you're going to control this the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing with MegaPress. We just had a comment on here earlier. Somebody said, "Hey, I've seen it more. I've seen deflection more in MegaPress than on ProPress," right? And you just said that because ProPress have to too. It's just got the sealing element on the inside. You got that metal to metal connection on both sides. When that makes that press, the action is still the same. It still is pushing, but just because of the hexagonal deformation, the way it's designed, the deflection or the misangular alignment is going to be less noticeable than that of MegaPress. Because with MegaPress, because you have that grip ring, just unlike the larger ProPress, because you have that grip ring in there, you don't want this to be like a Chinese finger trap. So I want to be able to dry fit this pipe in there. So it's going to have a larger hub, but you can see, I mean, now that pipe has a lot of movement. And if I don't use proper hangers, right, if I don't throw maybe a level on here and make sure, what's a level? What? Should I get my plumb bob out and everything? So, right. So yeah, I mean, some people have laser eyes, which if you hold that just kind of straight and into the fitting, seated into the fitting all the way, you probably don't need a level, but have a nice magnetic level there. If you can't get the hanger spacing is going to be greater sometimes, shorter in different distances, right? You follow code, you could be 6, 8, 10-foot span on hangers. So depending if it's steel pipe or copper pipe. So you got to follow code there as well. And so you don't have to add extra hangers just because you're using press technology. Just got to understand these tips and tricks that Bo's going to show you this evening to alleviate that deflection and make it plumb and level. So that's what we're going to get into there. So you don't have this right here when you make that press, because if you were pushing on this and made that press, it's going to stay that direction. If you weren't paying attention, it's going to go again to whether it's a ring or a jaw, it's going to go one way or the other, and you want to keep that straight. So there is still a skill putting our product in, right? You can't just slap it together and pull the trigger and thinks it's that easy. There's still a skill to keep everything professional looking, but deflection doesn't hurt our performance. I'll get into that later, right? So
Yeah, I think you've got some pretty interesting stuff to show a little bit later, Troy. So something else to just keep in mind, press technology, it's new, right? I mean, getting on 30 years here, but still kind of new. And it's a faster, slicker way of doing things, that we used to do it a different way. And a lot of people think that maybe we're kind of dumbing things down. And I can assure you that Viega is not trying to dumb down the industry. if any evidence is out there to that fact, we have two fantastic seminar centers, and Troy and I are all about elevating the trades and training new technology as well as old technology. So we're all about that. That's really what we do. But you know, if you think back, like when I started in the trades, I'm 50, and when I started in the trades, you know, doing refrigeration, you know, I had gauges and a subcooling chart. And now we have digital gauges that mount to my scale, that mount to my bottle. I mean, we used to have to fill refrigeration systems with something called a dial-a-charge. You old school guys out there will know what I'm talking about. And back then, we would fill our dial-a-charge. You didn't evacuate it. You would just vent the dial-a-charge until you had enough liquid in your charge to charge your system. And today, we don't even do that. It's all calculated for you. So new technology is coming all the time. Ultimately, what we want to help you do is be successful and get home to your kid's soccer game. Man, if we do that, woo, we won. So there's a huge benefit right there. Home in time for dinner. And Troy, absolutely. I know you never miss a meal.
Oh, never miss a meal. I was just crushing McDonald's before this. I can't. I just eat every 2 hours, man. I can't stop brutal. Eating. You know?
You eat all the time, and you keep getting leaner. It's amazing. So I have to work.
I used to be like that out in the field. Somebody would be like, "Hey, I like that guy. I forget his name, but he always has a sandwich in his mouth. He does good work. Send him over. He's going to do all the plumbing."
Yep, that's good.
But, you know, I mean, Bo, and you're absolutely right, man. I mean, you know, it's not taking the skill out of the trade. We're not dumbing anything down. And you and I are both from the field, licensed, you know, contractors, gas fitters, pipe fitters, plumbers. And our staff of trainers are the same. They're all from the field, and they take so much pride in what they do, but they understand evolution and innovation and, you know, trying to make things safer and better and more reliable for everyone in the industry. But everything has its place, right? So we even trade, you know, we teach trade school kids too as well, Bo and I and our entire team, and we teach them how to do traditional methods and our way. And we're not sitting here with smoke and mirrors or trying to brainwash or drink Kool-Aid. You need to know all the joining methods. You need to know how to do it right. You need to know when to use which one and why. Everything has its place, so just keep that in mind.
Absolutely. So, or Cheesy said, you know, it's about faster input, the more work you can do, and the more jobs you can acquire as a contractor. And I'm right with you, brother. I hear you on that one. Another question came in about, we got a lot of questions. I'm trying to keep up. Are Milwaukee press tools Viega approved? We're going to get to that. I'm going to show you some Milwaukee press tools. We're going to press with Viega tools. We're going to press with rigid tools. I'm going to hit all that today because we're just letting all the cats out of the bag today, and then I'll herd them later. So, but with that, I can show you some simple mega press demos, and then I'll let Troy pick up some questions. I'm going to move to the overhead pipe rack where I've got some 2-inch in strut, I've got some 3/4 in strut, and then I've got some XL or 2.5 on clevis hangers, and it's swinging free. So we'll see how to deal with that as well. So you can kind of see different things. But I'm going to step off to the side here, and hopefully you don't have to look at my ugly mug. I'm going to kick a few things out of the way. And hopefully you can see this. Let me just pan the camera down a little bit. That's probably better.
Yep, that's good.
So this is basically a duplicate of what we have in Nashville. We call the piping wall in the trenches. We had to do it a little different because they have like corners that they can turn. So we did some different stuff here. So we built this box, and we can configure different things. And when you come to a seminar center, you're going to build this stuff. You'll figure it out and build it, and you'll learn how to control deflection and pipe it up so that you can be successful with it. But right here, I've got some loose piping. Okay, it's free, unpressed. It's just bolted into some flanges. We do have mega press flanges, but we use these so we can spin these out. So we don't want to keep wasting flanges. It makes it easier. We can change things around a little bit easier. So, but everything is loose here. So what Troy was talking about is that when I press, okay, this fitting right here, I want to work with a fixed fitting first. These are both fixed. They're not moving, okay? So the only thing that can really move is the pipe. And so, I don't know, let's use a standard press tool. This is the Press Gun 6. Just squeeze the trigger and it turns on. It tells me how many presses I got. There's a little digital light there. But this is a standard size tool, so this will press up to 2-inch. Okay, it doesn't work with the larger sizes on Mega Press. It stops at 2. All right? So if I were to press this fitting, where I'm pointing right now, and the fitting could theoretically move, it would go down if I were putting the tool in this position. Okay? So if that fitting wants to move away from me, the pipe will actually come up. So I'm not going to hold this in place. I'm just going to go ahead and press it. And hopefully, let me just pan over this way a little bit. Hopefully you can see the... Okay, you saw the pipe lift. Did you see that, Troy?
Yep. Oh, yeah. No, I saw it clear as day.
Now that's solid, okay? And it's pretty doggone straight, and I do have one of those laser eyes, so you just have to take my word for it. But if you don't believe me, you can come out here and we'll show you. All right, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Now you saw some things moving there, so I didn't do anything. I just let the press happen, okay? Now, I still have a lot of loose fittings here, okay? They're all marked, all right? And what I want to do with this fitting is I want to make sure that this fitting doesn't kick my piping, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a press here. And when I make the press, the fitting is going to want to go this way. It's going to want to throw the pipe away from me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pulling force to counteract that happening. And something else that you can do is you can hold, you know, I'm not going to grab a level right now, but you can line things up and you can kind of feather the tool and get the fitting starting to grip. Okay, what would you call that if you were a welder, Troy?
Tacking the fitting. I'm tacking it up.
I'm a farm welder. I grew up on a farm. We would weld stuff back together and weld in a straight line. That's it. So you pipe welders out there, you're my heroes. So I want to kind of just start to secure the fitting. I'm going to feather it a little bit. But now I'm ready to make the press. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull on the tool. And I'm not pulling super hard, but I am pulling on it. And that keeps things nice and straight. And that elbow is sitting straight. Now I have some movement in the fitting here because I haven't tightened this down. So the MIP is moving. Okay, so we'll do the other side. I'll step over here. I'm going to do the same thing, try and keep things nice and straight. Okay, got nice straight connections on my elbow. This stuff is all still loose. So now what I want to show you is how to deal with deflection that's going to move up or down. So if I couldn't get in here, obviously I can't get my press tool in here. I can get, let's say I can't get over here, I can only get in from above or below. So in this case, I'll wait to press these two elbows over here. I'm going to press this guy on one side. I'm just going to support the weight of the tool. What I'm going to do is switch sides. And I'm going to get it from the bottom, which will counteract because now the fitting is going to move in the opposite direction. Okay, still pretty damn straight. Am I allowed to say that on Instagram?
Say whatever you want, brother. Say whatever you want.
Still not pressed, but I got to show you this. Sorry, I'm going to make y'all seasick. I'm going to move the camera.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
So what I want to do is I want to get in here. Okay, that's pretty straight. And if you notice, let's see if I can pan up here. You can see that the spacing around the hub is very consistent. There's a lot of slop in these fittings. These fittings actually are manufactured in Germany and the United States, but they're manufactured in such a way that these fittings will actually fit on metric pipe, except for 2.5. So the tolerance allows, because metric pipe is very, very similar to imperial pipe. So there's a lot of tolerance in these fittings. That's one of the cool things about them is that we can be used in submarine, well, maybe not submarines, but, you know, maybe not submarines. I wish we could be using, we're getting there.
That's the only one we can't. We can do shipbuilding.
Right.
We can't do submarines yet.
Can't use submarines, but, you know, cruise ships, non-military vessels, you know, large shipping vessels, so forth and so on, Coast Guard vessels, etc. So a lot of times those ships are built with metric pipe, and so we can, you know, transfer into those. All right, so last two fittings. In this case, I can press from this side and just let it float. Not a lot of movement happening now. Everything's nice and stiff, but in this case, I want to counteract some of that pressing force. But everything is so rigid now, there's not going to be a lot of movement. I'll just hold the camera down a little bit. So I'm just going to pull on the tool. Okay, and we are nice and square. So take one more walk around this with the camera and just prove it, because I don't want anyone to think I'm doing some kind of smoke and mirrors here. Okay, good and square. They're straight on. And if I come around this way, oops, wrong way. Sorry, camera operator error. Okay, we are good and square. All right, so there's no reason you can't build things that are plumb and level. So the other issue that we're going to run into is with offsets. So coming back on you. Sorry, again, operator error. Doing the best I can. But it's like the most pressure I feel when I'm operating. I'm going to use the smaller tool this time. So this is a compact size tool. So currently this tool, it's called the Pico. And what this tool will do is, on carbon steel, 1/2 and 3/4 currently, and 1-inch jaws are coming. And then it'll do up to 1 1/4 copper, up to 1.5 PEX. So you can, it's probably hard to see from that angle, but I think if I just pull the tripod over for a second here, you can see this guy's shooting downhill, right? My elbow is turned down and I've got things shooting downhill. So let me get back here so you can see the whole Magilla. Beckett is cracking up right now. Okay. And again, I want to work on my fixed fitting. Right, so this guy's hanging down. So what I'm going to do, you can see my finger there, but just check it. I'm going to go ahead and press that and get this to straighten up, because I want to work from a straight point. Troy, if you disagree with anything I'm doing, please shout it out. Feel free to correct me. I learn every day, as you know.
You're doing a great job, man. You're doing great. I'm just sitting back, enjoying my beverage, just hanging out. You're all good, man.
Okay, now, I don't know if you can see this or not. Let me just pan up. This is something, guys, I want you to, or guys, but guys and girls, everybody. Okay, right now, my tool is up against this strut, this P1000 up here. And if I have my hand back here on this battery and I squeeze that trigger on this press tool, it's going to smash my fingers. Okay, so just a tip. If you're pressing close to something like a concrete wall and you've got your hand between the tool and the wall, be very careful if there's any tension on the tool, because it will pin your hand when the tool is running. Ask me how I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just rotate down a little, because I know that I'm misaligned here. I don't feel like I'm completely straight. So I think this is still enough of an angle that I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to go ahead and feather the tool a little bit and hold this in place. Brought my pipe up nice and straight. And now I want to get my other fixed point, which is right here. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to go ahead and press in from the top.
No, we only can see the butt of the gun, but it's all right.
Let me move this. Woo. We're doing okay
Nice.
on time.
There you go.
Now, you probably saw this kind of pull together. I don't know if you could see that, Troy. But
Yep.
what happened was the pipe straightened out because it can only move in one plane. That's it. So just so you know, that's something else to keep in mind with deflection. When you're controlling it, the pipe or the fitting can only move in one plane. It can't go down and to the left or whatever. It can only go one way. It's either going to go down or to the left, depending on where the opening of that jaw is or ring. So the pipe is now very straight in my adapter. All right, and things are really straightening out over here, but there's a lot of slop. So next, what I want to do, what I really should do, is put a level up here. But what I am going to do is put the tension on this guy, and I'm going to go ahead and press. Ooh, there's a ram release. I just cycle the tool. We'll let that go. So now the tool opens. Go ahead and press this guy. And I'm going to pull, because the fitting's going to want to kick, and it's going to want to kick my pipe out. So what I'm going to do is make sure it's fully seated, start to press, and pull. Okay, and now I'm nice and solid. Okay. And then you can see this fitting is kicking down. This one's kicking down. So I think the next fitting I want to get is this guy right here. And I'm going to go ahead and lift up on it. Give me a secure point. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that guy because I got too much slack. I'm going to hit this guy again as well. This one wants to come up. So what I'm going to do is push on it. Same location. I'm working in as if I was confined. I can only get the tool in one spot. Okay, good and solid. And now we're nice and plumb across here. Now I can go ahead and hit my 45 and take my 90 last. Now, what's happened is when I press this, I had the pipe crooked a little bit. So it's sitting in this hub right here, just a little bit to the side. So when I press it, if I press from this side, okay, it's going to make it worse. But I can't get my tool back here. There's nothing I can do. I can't fit the tool in there. So I've got to pull. So I'm going to go ahead and put my tool on, and I'm going to start the ram, and I'm just going to pull on it. And we're starting to fit up nice and rigid. And then on this side right here, I want to make sure that this guy doesn't kick down. So I can either work the tool from this side, hopefully you can see that. And I've got 2 more fittings to press, and I'm good to go here and here. So I'll hit this guy right here. This one is going to want to kick this way, so I'm going to pull. And that's it. Last one right here. Okay, I'll let you take a look at that and tell me if I passed today.
See if you get your credential card.
You got to go to training for that.
That's true, you do.
Okay, this is not cooperating for me. There we go.
There we go.
So, oops, let's go this way. So,
nice
and square coming off the wall, okay, and square coming down the line here. And then if I turn this, oops, back out, there's my offset. Okay, so you can absolutely control it. It's not hard to do. And I did that with an inline tool. A lot of people like the inline tools. I'm actually a pistol grip tool guy myself. I prefer them. But the more I use these inlines, they're really light and just super simple, the more I like them. So the pistol grip will give you a little bit more maneuverability just because the barrel is shorter. And with that, Troy, if you want to hit some questions, I'll move over to the rack and I'll show those 2 fittings and demo.
No, absolutely. And I loved your demonstration there with the offset and all the fittings, because that goes back to what we were saying where we're not taking away the skill. I still have to know how to calculate offsets. I still have to know why I'm doing the things I do. And that right there, those tips and tricks allows you to do a great job. And I love that example you just did. And that's what we show at our seminar centers in person. You actually get to come there, go down in our trenches, go in our workshops, and we actually have you install in person with us. So you know how to do it the right way before you leave. And then when you go out in the field, you can really kick some ass. So can't wait. You know, I love those tools you're showing off. I know mine are coming in the mail. I can't wait till we can start blasting some promotions on there. You know, we've been working with Beck on that. So we had a question on here. Is that a Viega press tool? Yes. So we are, you know, just like in Germany, we have Viega branded press tools. We are now going to be launching Viega branded press tools here in the US. Now, powered by Rigid, still partnership with Rigid, things like that. You saw it was a Rigid battery platform on there. So, but we'll have more of that. And we'll talk about it. It's all coming soon. So we'll get you more information on the tool. So keep in touch there. Look at Viega LLC. They're going to be posting a bunch of stuff. I'll be posting stuff on my platform. But I like this straight away that Bo is showing, right? Because you're up. If I'm up on a scissor lift, I'm in an open area. Bo talked about alternating presses. And if you have an open area on a scissor lift, I'm in a warehouse, I'm in a big commercial building, and I have the room, when you alternate those presses like Bo was showing, when you do 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or you do 6 o'clock, then come over and hit it at 12 o'clock, you're moving that fitting back and forth, right? Because for every action is a reaction. So that is going to then straighten that right back out. But a lot of times you don't have a huge open area like that. So then you get into what Bo was showing with the push and pull method. So if you know you have a jaw and that jaw is pushing the fitting away from you, you saw Bo was pulling back on that tool. And you're not just cranking back on it. It's just slightly giving it that steadiness, so you're counteracting the natural reaction of that deflection, of that pushing away from you. And then if you have that ring is going to pull that fitting towards you. You push on that and you hold that steady, and that's not going to allow it to kick at you that way. So if you can alternate, you do push and pull. And you know what? There's always what I like to say is the repress, because maybe you messed up. You saw Bo, he was calculating. He was thinking out every single way that he was going to make that press. Okay, on this 90, I'm going to press it here. On this 45, I'm going to press here. He was calculating all that, thinking in his head, am I pushing? Am I pulling? Am I alternating presses? You might have to switch it up every single time. You have to think about it, every calculated motion. He was thinking about that along the way. Where could he fit the tool in? Does he have a ring set? Maybe he doesn't have a ring set. Maybe it's only a jaw and he's got a straight line tool. It's a longer tool. You might have a standard tool. You might have a compact tool. There's so many tools on the market. So just understanding how those tools work, how those jaws and rings interact with the fitting, it's going to be able to allow you to do a professional job that is plumb, level, and square, like we said. So,
sorry, I'm going to make sure that I'm.
No, you're good. That's how you're moving. So
the right way here. Oops.
And we have so many questions here. Really great questions. I know Big Dog, you were talking about. Let's see, Big Dog Plum, you were talking about PEX press. So there are PEX press jaw. They're rigid. Pure flow jaws for our PEX press system. Those actually fit right into Milwaukee tools. Milwaukee probably will be launching some later on. They do have the short throw PEX press tool as well. So keep an eye out for some PEX, posts that we're going to be doing later on, because there's a lot of questions lately about PEX, which is great. So a lot of engineers are asking about design and specifications, things like that. So there are pure flow jaws for compact and standard tools, half all the way to 2-inch on your standard, and then half to 1.5 inch on your compact. So keep an eye out for those.
So yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, but this right here is a PEX expansion loop that we've sized for this run of pipe. And this will actually be live, so you'll actually see what happens when so if you come to training, you'll calculate this, you'll figure out how to figure out the size of this expansion loop. The longer the run, the bigger the change in temperature, the bigger this omega, this is called omega loop, the bigger it becomes. You'll learn how to size it. It's very simple. And then you'll actually build it. But we'll have a live demo where you'll see what happens and how it compensates for expansion. This is one that we're actually in the process of building and setting up right now. So there's a lot of questions about PEX. This one's just sitting there that we're testing it out. So I set the ring up here. I have the ring saddle on the fitting facing down. Never put your ring on the fitting this way and walk away unless you're trying to take out your apprentice, in which case have them stand directly under it. Seriously, don't ever set your ring that way. It will eventually make its way off into somebody's hard hat. So, but in this case, I've got pipe strapped in P1000. It's not going anywhere. So I'm not really worried about a whole lot of deflection here. I've got close hanger spacing. In this case, normally we'd be spaced out a lot further than a foot, but for the purpose of this rack system we use, we're tightening things a little closer. But I'm pretty well secured. So in this case, I could press side to side here, but I've got this guy in my way, and I've got a PEX expansion loop over here. I can't get my tool in there. I might be able to get in line, and that's where the swiveling jaw comes into play, but I probably still won't be able to get perfectly in line. So I'm using ring and a V2 actuator. Now, Troy explained this to everybody. Let's see if everyone can remember which way the fitting is going to want to kick. Here's the ring opening, right? So in this case, it's coming at me.
Going right at you.
Different direction now because the opening is facing my press gun. Okay? So in this case, I can probably get fairly close. And if you notice, I don't know if you can see that, Troy, but the pin is going to hit the pipe. Can you guys see that in there?
Yep.
Right, so the cool thing is I can just rotate my head around, okay, or I'd have to invert my tool, and I can press from above and get a little bit closer. So in this case, I'll set my tool up here. The tool has tethering points on it. Okay, I still can't quite get in there. I need a little bit more clearance. You can't get perfectly in line with the pipe. Right about there. Okay, I'm free, I'm clear, and I can go ahead and turn my tool on. So I forgot. Rookie move. Now, I don't know if you saw it or not, but that tool was kicking out.
Oh, yeah.
On this pipe. So if my hand was in here, you would have heard me squeak. All right? And now I can rotate my ring in safe position so I can set my tool down. The tools have tethers, as do all the other tools that are out there, so you can strap it on. I don't have it strapped on now, but if you're working overhead, you should tether off your tool, okay? Eventually, that's going to be safety protocol on any job site if it isn't already where you work, so keep that in mind. So in this case, I got a little bit more clearance on the other side, so I can get in this way. And all I did was, I know my fitting kicked this way, so I'm just going to counteract it by pressing on the other side so that everything stays straight. I'll show you another trick in a second here. In this case, I can even just get right in over here and pull my tool off, ring off, and she's nice and straight and purdy. So looking good. Same thing would be true if I were doing that 3/4 inch line. Also, just so you know, you can repress a fit. And I can come up here, and this 3/4 fitting is actually pressed on one side and unpressed on the other. Here's the press side. I can just go ahead and repress this. Doesn't hurt anything. In fact, if you were to rotate a mega press fitting, we want anything more than 5 degrees, we want you to repress. Okay? Just reestablishes your connection. But in this case, all I'm going to do, I press, I let the tool hang. In this case, I'm just going to pull down a little bit. Okay? Counteract some of the pressing force. Hopefully you can hear me okay. And I'm solid. So, very simple way to control that deflection. For the last demo, we still have some time. We've got about 20 minutes. So we're going to end early today.
Yeah, you're good.
It's amazing as we run over. Troy and I do like the sounds of our own voices. So I'm going to move here, get under my next demo, and I'm going to move the camera. Wow, I actually got it the right way this time.
Look at that. You're so fancy.
I know. So there is, you see that big fitting back there. I'm going to get a little closer and get up under it. Sorry. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. So for this is a large diameter mega press, what we used to call XL, but it's just mega press, 2.5 inch. This happens to be FKM. You can get it for HMBR for fuel gas up to 4. Same with FKM. And that is sitting in clevis hangers. And as you can see, that fitting is loose. I've got the pipe tensioned in to hold the fitting there, and the insertion depth is right. I've got my marks. Make sure I've marked my insertion depth, but we're swinging. Okay? So in this case, I can't really get a press tool in this space very well. I've got about 6 inches to my left here and maybe 8 inches to my right. And I'm up above my rack, so it makes it hard for me to work around, and get, I can't reach around the rack and get in here. It's just not convenient to do so. Mm-hmm. So, and most of you know that, especially if you're doing retrofit or repair work, this is your life. Right, Troy? I mean,
oh yeah.
I got to make a connection up in there? What? That's where press really shines.
A lot of times it's worse than that right there.
Yep. So I have a very well-used ring here. It's a 2.5. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and saddle it on my fitting. And I do want to make sure that the fitting is sitting in the shoe, which is in the back of the jaw or ring. So again, in this case, my fitting wants to come at me, right? It wants to get to that opening. So it's not going to lift this Schedule 42.5 inch pipe. It's just not going to do that. But what I am going to do to counteract some of that force is I'm going to put a little upward force on my press. Now for this, I'm going to actually use the long throw tool and the Viega Z3 actuator. So this is a Milwaukee product here. And, oops, sorry, you can't see anything, can you? I'm sitting here talking about it, and you're all like, what's he talking about? So there's the Z3 actuator. I am getting a workout. You know, you're just sitting there doing nothing.
I'll just chill.
I'm sweating over here, man.
I'm looking at all the comments, you know, taking some notes. You're doing all the work. This is great. Thanks,
love
brother.
This, don't you?
I do.
This is the Milwaukee long throw tool. Sorry, it's not a great count. I'll show it to you when we get down off the lift here, the steps here. But this is the Viega Z3 actuator. So with the rigid Viega booster, we are using 2 strokes, and we are basically doubling the force that is used to make the press. With this system, what we're doing is we're actually doubling the distance. So the force stays the same, but the distance becomes longer. They both equal the same amount of force. Don't ask me how much that is. It's a lot. Sorry. You'd think I'd get this button straight, but it's that way. Don't ask me to fly your drone for you, because I'm going to crash it.
Oh, you'll crash it right into the ground, man.
Right into the ground. Okay. So anyway, this tool is very heavy, so I do recommend tethering it, or, you know, getting some help if necessary.
But I thought you went to the gym. I thought this. I mean, that's not even 20 pounds. I mean, you're good.
This is the gym. Okay, so I've got the tool started. Okay, it's locked onto the pipe, and I'm just going to apply a little upward force. Okay, and that press is done. And on this side, which obviously there's not much else I can do. I mean, if I had to get clearance, I can swivel this. You know, if for some reason I had something here below me, I could swivel the tool somewhat in line. But in this case, I'm not gonna use any pulling force. I'm just gonna let the tool do its thing. And we are set. Set this guy down and show it to you in a minute. The ring off of there. Okay. And I'll get you a camera angle because that pipe is straight. So hang on 1 second. And turn it around there. I love it. By the way, it's not the one to the right. The one to the right has no fitting on it. It's that straight one to the left of it. Okay, so very easy to control. You just need to know how, and we're happy to show you because we want you to be successful. We take this very seriously, and we want you to win. And I'll grab that Milwaukee tool and show it to everybody because I'm sure everyone's wanting to see what that looks like.
Oh yeah.
Whoops. Yeah, I am a terrible camera operator. Good Lord, that's really bad. Okay. Whew. I'm sweating.
You okay? You all right?
I'm all right.
Maybe just sit down, have some ice water, glass of sweet tea. You'll be all right, man. Casserole 1, do you ever have to calibrate your tool? Yes. So depending on which tooling platform you have, you know, there's going to be the microprocessor on there has lights, and it's going to indicate and let you know when you're going to have to service that tool. And everyone's different. For rigid on their compact tools, that's 32,000 presses. On their standard tool, it's 42,000 presses, and they got some new tools coming out that are going to be even longer on the service cycle, so I can't wait. Milwaukee's roughly about the same with their press cycles. DeWalt is right there with 45,000 presses. Hilti's roughly the same too, and so each of them have their own recommendations, where to service them. They have their own service centers. You know, Rigid has a ton of service centers locally, and I've always looked stuff up for people. Anybody who gets a hold of me and says, hey, what about my area? I can look it up on my Rigid app and say, yep, this is your person. I actually just did that for Conrad here, you know, laying pipe 305. He asked me the other day about where he could get a service tool. He's in Miami, and his closest one is in Clearwater. So, you know, and if you don't have a local tooling center, you just send it straight back to Rigid. So again, all the major press tooling brands, they are going to have a service cycle for recalibration. And that's because of the design of that tool, the hydraulic ram in that tool, things like that, we want to make sure that you get a consistent, reliable press every time. So we want to make sure those tools are in good working conditions. But the life cycles are pretty long. So, I mean, unless you're banging out large high-rise commercial buildings every single day, you're not going to burn through there. I mean, I have worked with big mechanicals that they've burned through some tools because they're doing hundreds of thousands of presses. It's crazy. But if you're just service, doing repair, I mean, that tool could actually last you a long, long years sometimes before you even have to get it serviced. So definitely got to calibrate that tool.
Yep, absolutely. So this is the Milwaukee. It's pretty big. I mean, this is a fairly large tool. I've got the 9.0 amp hour heavy duty battery in it right now, so it has a little length. But you can stick the 1.5 amp hour little compact battery in it if you need a little extra squeeze. So or less squeeze, not squeeze. Space is what I meant to say. It's the same amount of squeeze. But yeah, it's big and heavy, and you gotta finagle it into place. But once you get it up where you need to go, as you can see in a confined location, we can make presses with any of these. So,
and that long throw tool, that's a standard tool, so that does everything. You can do 1/2-inch pro press copper with that. So again, as long as you have the right jaws or ring in that tooling platform, you're going to be able to make that connection. So
correct.
Really cool. And the rigid RP 342 XL, same thing. It's like the long throw from Milwaukee. It's a single press, one pull the trigger for all sizes, as long as you have the right jaw or actuator in there for the rings. So really great tooling options out there on the market right now. I'm excited too. Somebody said they're really excited about the RP 350 coming out from Rigid. I'm excited about that too. We're launching that Z3 actuator right there for Viega, and that's going to fit in the long throw tool of Milwaukee and the RP 342 XL, so you can press the rings, right? Because that's the thing with other manufacturers. Other tooling manufacturers, they don't have that swivel because that is a patented feature by Viega, by Rigid, so that they can't do that. So by having that actuator, now you get that flexibility because the ring sets are key, especially you're getting into tighter areas nowadays, tighter spaces. Architects and designers that want big open floor plans and cram all your piping into a corner. So how are you going to do that? You need that flexibility with the tools.
So back to the question about, we okay with Milwaukee tools? We okay with other tools? So, we design the fitting, we design the rings that work with Rigid and Rigid rings. We prefer that you use Rigid rings. If you have another press tool that you want to use, that's fine. Ultimately, what it comes down to is, does the press tool generate enough force for the application? And we warranty the fitting. So that's what we stand behind, is the fitting. So if you use someone else's tool and you have an issue and it ends up, we determine that it's a tooling issue, not a ring issue, but a tooling issue, that wasn't enough force or whatever, you might have to go to that manufacturer for resolution on your warranty. But there are so many press systems out there, so many press tools.
Oh, yeah.
We just want to get you pressing. So ideally, Rigid rings, Viega fittings, Rigid tools. The new 350's coming out. It's a brushless tool. It's really cool. I like the pistol grip tools, like I said. So
Me
the
too.
XL and the 350 is a pistol grip tool. The new 350 is super compact. It's almost like the little, the old. It's smaller now than the old. Oh gosh, come on. What was
the 210, RP 210.
Yeah, the 210, which was an awesome tool. If you have one of those, hang on to it. They last forever. They're bomb-proof, like the old CT400s. So, but just get out there and press.
Absolutely. And before we're getting down to the wire, before Instagram kicks us off, we only got a few more minutes. I just want to do a couple shout outs right here, some questions. So Pipe Doctor at New York, I will message you who your DM in Long Island is. Cam the Plumber, in-person trainings in Canada. We have no plans at the time to build a seminar center in Canada. We like to have you all come here. Unfortunately, with COVID, we're not traveling. Bo and I have been to Canada to do in-person trainings upon request. Obviously, with a district manager or working with a wholesale in that area, our distributor and our district manager. So we have done in-person trainings. It's not the same experience, but you know what? You still got us and and our other trainers that are very knowledgeable. So, we can do that, but we would prefer if we could get you down to one of our seminar centers. And Power Tool Junkie Training Center in California, don't know. We have looked at California. We've looked at other places around the U.S., and we will be, in the future opening other seminar centers. So it is a spot we're looking at. We're looking at other locations in the Southwest and the Southeast, the North Pac West. So we're looking at various locations. So I say from now to maybe 2035, look out, because we'll be building more and more seminar centers because we believe in education. It's worth the investment to keep our trades strong.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. No time soon.
Just to Canada, we think you should come here. Don't get upset, but I think the beer is better here. So you have that to look forward to. Just saying.
Yeah. All right. Okay, fine. All right. I don't know if the beer is better though. Have you seen some of the beer I drink, man? There was a new local brews that's 10.7, 13% alcohol.
So I'm saying it's better here. Come here,
That's because the altitude makes it feel better because you get drunk quicker, right? The higher altitude.
The U.S. is what I meant.
Oh, in the U.S., yeah. Yeah. Don't go to Oklahoma, though. It's like 3.0 everywhere, so don't do that. Sorry for anybody who's on. I mean, it is what it is. All-Star Plumber, where's your collared shirt? Come to the New Hampshire Seminar Center. You'll see me in a collared shirt there. Corporate dress policy, but I'm in my garage, man, so I get to wear my boots and my shorts and my hat. And so come to New Hampshire. I'll be wearing a collared shirt. And last one, the Leak Doctor. You were talking about MegaPress for gas. So MegaPress G, yellow dot, yellow sticker, yellow bag, HMBR seal. You can definitely, it is approved. You can put it underground, above. There you go. There's the bags right there. He's got a gas fitting right there in the yellow bags. Then he's got the water fittings on the other side for hydronics and steam and things like that. So, you're going to be able to do that underneath the house, underground, under slabs, on top of roofs, in concealed locations. Has CSA LC for approval for propane and natural gas for all local codes. So there we go, man. It's 7:56. I don't want Instagram to kick us. Bo, do you have anything to add?
I just want to say thanks everybody for joining us tonight. It was really cool. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for engaging with us and getting a little debate going, because we want to help you. That's what we're about. We are always about elevating, not bringing the trades down. So really appreciate you joining in. Also, I want to tell you, if you have any comments or questions or an idea for an upcoming episode of Tech Talk Live, email us at techtalk@viega.us. It's techtalk@viega.us, and we'll give you a shout out, and you might win some really cool swag. Also, check out the Viega Rewards program. You can sign up at vigarewards.us. If you buy Viega, you get Viega. You can use it to cash in for fittings, tooling, training trips, all kinds of really cool stuff, even some swag. And it's an awesome program. All Viega product qualifies in the Viega Rewards program. Last but not least, if you have the chance, check out the Viega Toolbox app. Go onto your app store, Android or iOS, and download the Viega Toolbox app. There's a free version that'll help you fit. You can get your fitting takeouts there. You can run your calculations. There's cool pipe calculators in. There's a cool reference guide. The paid version is very inexpensive, and it does welding, trunnion leg, butt weld, offsets, miter joints, everything you could want. So check out the Viega Toolbox app, download it, get the full version if you want to use all the features of it. So, and that's all I got, Troy.
That's good. Just, look out for our next show. We're doing it once a month, Instagram Live. So the next show is September 23rd, 12 p.m. Central. We're bouncing between day and nighttime once a month, right? So next show, September 23rd, 12 p.m. Central. Can't wait to see you all there. Mick Plumb, I will direct message you on your question there with Galvanize. We're going to get kicked off here. Bo, thank you so much, man. Those are great tips. The feathering, the tacking, everything. You made everything look great. That's how it's done. So everyone, I hope you can now go out in the field and immediately take these tips and tricks and use them to your benefit. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you all soon.
We love you all.